Diet soda increases your risk of developing type 2 diabetes by a whopping 67%. Number 2, 1 can a day of soda increases your risk of heart attack by 20%. 1 can a day. And here's the bad news. As a former diet soda drinker, I was addicted to it. It makes you gain weight. This stuff is poison. And you know what we do with poison? We dump it down the drain.
It was breathtaking to look at what Americans look like now. And I can assure you it's not in a good way from a health perspective. And importantly, a lot of it isn't the fault of the individual. It's the messaging that they are getting that is working its way into their decision-making process, that diet drinks are better than sugar-sweetened drinks. You shouldn't drink any of them if you want to remain thin and resist having diabetes. Artificial sweeteners increase your risk of obesity and diabetes. Not because Dr. Perlmutter is saying it on your show today. That's what the best scientific literature is telling us. A study of over 70,000 women in France demonstrates that. And that sugar is okay in moderation. Well, you know what? That's not in your interest. It's in the interest of people who are trying to sell sugar.
You're right. There's, unfortunately, most of our information we get from big pharma, big food, big agriculture, and big chemical. And it pervades our media, it pervades most of our medical schools, as you and I both know. Please, please, please do not kill your gut microbiome with artificial sweeteners. Duke University showed a packet of Splenda kills off 50% of the gut microbiome. 1 packet. Sucralose. Your microbiome is one of your major defense systems against lectins. And one of the reasons we're having an epidemic of people being sensitive to lectins when they weren't 100 years ago is we've done in our microbiome with artificial sweeteners, with the antibiotics that we take, and the antibiotics that are fed to our animals that we then eat. So do yourself a favor, ditch the artificial sweeteners. There's plenty of options out there like stevia and monk fruit, inulin, just to name 3. Here's the deal. Artificial sweeteners are just as bad for you as sugar. They actually change the bacteria in your gut, and they actually promote weight gain. Every study of our artificial sweeteners has shown this. Sucralose is particularly problematic. 1 packet of Splenda will kill about 50% of the bacteria in your gut, a Duke University study from 2007. There are sweeteners, natural sweeteners like erythritol, xylitol, stevia, that can be used quite safely, but always remember this. Your tongue does not have sugar receptors. It has sweet receptors. And your tongue tastes sweet because long ago the only sweetness was in sugar, was the sugar in fruit. And when fruit season was there, it was summer and you had to fatten up for the winter. And you ate a lot of fruit to gain weight. When you're tasting something sweet and there's no sugar, your brain actually thinks you've been cheated, that the sugar didn't arrive or you got a bad piece of fruit, and it actually tells you to go eat more sweet things because you need some more and get your monies back. And even these sweeteners have been shown to increase your appetite and cause you to gain weight. So one of my principles is retreat from sweet. If you use a whole packet of stevia, cut it in half. In a couple weeks, you'll notice it's just as sweet as it was before. Cut it in half again. In about a month, you'll be weaned off completely. So good news for all you sweet tooths out there. You still got options. You can go for a little honey at times, provided it's local honey or Manuka honey, but please use it sparingly. You can also try a tiny bit of cassava syrup. Again, use this one sparingly. And there are some plant-based sweeteners you can actually use wherever you'd use sugar. Try stevia. This plant extract is actually sweeter than sugar, and it's one of my favorite sweeteners, especially the liquid, which works really well in coffee. These days, you can even find sodas sweetened with stevia if you're really craving the bubbly stuff. But remember, read that label and make sure stevia is the only sweetener. Now, xylitol and erythritol, these low-calorie sweeteners come from fruit alcohol and are pretty easy to bake or cook with. Swerve and Just Like Sugar are two common brands, and they're easy to find in most health food stores. Just remember, they're a little bit less sweet than sugar, so adjust your recipe accordingly. And read your ingredient list. Sometimes fruit alcohols are used along with aspartame, and you don't want that. Now, monk fruit is actually a melon, also known as lohango, and it's a great sweetener because it's calorie-free and a little goes a long way. And this is a good one for you avid bakers in that it cooks just like sugar, has a really similar taste and very little aftertaste. And coffee lovers, it dissolves really well in coffee or tea. Again, make sure your monk fruit sweetener isn't mixed with things like aspartame. Now, Yacon. If you miss baking with corn syrup or molasses, this one's for you. This sweet syrup is actually made from the tuberous roots of a plant in the daisy family. And good news for your gut bugs. Yacon syrup is really high in fructooligosaccharides. Yeah, that's a mouthful. A type of dietary fiber that feeds your gut bugs and helps keep digestion regular. That means sweetening your food could actually help you keep regular and healthy. Now, you can sometimes find Yacon syrup in health food stores, and it's really easy to find on Amazon. But make sure you're buying 100% Yacon syrup, nothing with corn syrup mixed in. And whatever you do, stay away from the dangerous sweeteners, especially when you've got so many healthy options at your fingertips. Are there any health topics you'd like to know more about? If so, reply in the comments and let me know what you're curious about. After all, I created this channel for you, and I want to make sure you're benefiting from it. So if there's anything you want to know, go ahead and leave a comment below.